hit it. You ready? Excellent. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another live stream. I apologize for the setup. It's a work in progress. We've literally just moved. In the future, there will be cabinets in the background and like stuff to see. At the moment, obviously, it's quite bare. But yes, it's a work in progress. The reason we are having a stream today, though, is because we do have some exciting announcements, or an exciting announcement. We have a very special guest with us today. We'll wait for a few more people to join the stream before we bring on the special guest. But it shall be a very exciting stream, I'm sure. Let's see if we've got anyone joining in on the chat. There's always a bit of a delay between the stream and the actual live chat, so we shall see if there is anyone on the chat yet. Let's have a look. Interesting. That would be why. Hold on. And let me hit it. Okay, we're green. It says we're green. Hopefully that means that it's all good. Excellent. It looks like we're on now. I'm so sorry, everyone, for the technical difficulties. It shouldn't be like this going forward, I promise.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
excellent.
I think
hopefully everyone can see and hear. It looks like it's coming through clear now.
I think it's coming through now.
Okay, now I see you both. Okay, excellent. It's working. Is the audio clear as well? Because this is an all new setup from my end, at least. Peter, I think, is using the same equipment that he usually uses, but yeah, all new setup. So hopefully it's all working. Is it all working? Let us know. It looks like from my end that we're coming through clear. Anyway, we'll just proceed as though everything is working. Let us know if it isn't down in the chat. But huge thank you to Peter for joining me on this live stream. We haven't done a live stream in a while, it would seem.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, thanks again, for having me, especially on such short notice. Thanks for those who are attending, especially on such short notice. Yeah, man, the last one we did together, was it HCGHK? Is that the one where it was one when they announced like a bunch of
the
figures,
Summer Showcase.
Summer Showcase, there you go, like Zombie Iron Man and DC Wonder Woman, and yeah, that was the last time.
Yeah, it's been a while, but that was an awesome stream. We had a bunch of people on, obviously, from 6 Scale Network, the admin crew. Hopefully they're in the chat. If you guys are in I can see Ken is in the chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, quick plug for 6 Scale Network. Head over to Facebook and join the group, 6 Scale Network, if you haven't already. But yeah, that was an awesome stream. We're here to announce something equally as exciting, I think, personally.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Hopefully. So we'll wait for a few more people to join before we get to the announcements. We have 42 people in the chat. Huge thank you to all 42 of you for joining in on the stream. I think our technical difficulties have been resolved. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon. I think it looks good.
Yeah, those of you in the chat, let us know how, audio and video. Funny enough is we were kind of just chatting, thinking that we were chatting with everyone on stream, but it turned out that for a solid 5 minutes there was no audio and video. So we were like, oh, it looks like we may not be online. Wow. Okay, so we have someone, Eric Ola. And then there you go.
Audio sounds good, they said. Okay, audio is fantastic. Awesome. That's what we want to hear. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to hear. Huge thank you to all of you who've let us know. Yes, proceed, Louise says. Proceed. We shall proceed. Shall we do some figure talk before we get into our announcement, just so we give some time for people to come on by? Shall we talk about our little friend here on the desk? Oh.
Looks so good.
Look what
Oh
we
my
have here.
goodness.
Oh
I can't
yes.
wait for that to arrive.
Oh, it's a beauty.
I
It's
still
shipping
don't.
from Sideshow now, I think. They've just started.
I, yeah, so everyone's already getting this on Sideshow, but I ordered mine from KG Hobby and I have no
Oh.
shipping notification yet. So I don't,
Oh.
yeah, I don't even know if mine's even gonna come in a month or two or not, but you
Oh,
know.
fingers crossed, because I know
Yeah, I
people want
know,
to see
right?
what you got cooking up. But Peter asked me recently about my hashtag Mando flight suit mod. And yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but his suit is now brown. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's coming through on the stream cam or not, but yeah, I did a little bit of a mod, backyard mod on Mando here to get his suit to be brown, because even though people continuously tell me it's not supposed to be brown, I promise you, it is supposed to be brown. So yeah, let me know if you want to know how I did this. I won't be able to make a video because I already did it. But I can show you like a comparison or something to the original one, because it's quite striking. The brown really does give you season 2 vibes. It looks, I love it. I love it. Well worth it in my opinion.
I really like the contrast too, you know. I mean, that was one of the things I kind of enjoyed about like the difference between the OG Mando and Beskar Mando is because
Yep.
OG Mando, the undersuit was gray, so his armor was
They
brown.
flipped it.
And then they flipped
Hey.
exactly, yeah, they flipped it for this one, at least well in the series and in the posters and all that. So I was like, okay, cool, we'll get a different color palette. And then when the figure came out and it was basically kind of all a shade of gray, and I was like, oh,
Yep.
he looks kind of like a RoboCop kind of thing, I guess. Not that it's bad, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. So I really do like that chocolate brown
Yeah.
undersuit, and yeah, I may have to kind of do that with mine when it arrives. So we'll see.
It's whatever they used is really weird. Like when you get it and you feel the fabric, it's not like the first one. It feels like chalky, and it feels like they've sprayed, which they have. They've sprayed some fabric paint on it to give it that grey. Whereas now that I've removed it, it feels, as his shoulder pauldron falls off, it feels like soft again. So you're restoring the actual softness of the material. It's not so crinkly and rough and rigid as it was with that spray paint on there. And you can tell as soon as you start removing the suit itself, like there's overspray of that grey, like on the Velcro and all sorts of stuff. So they've literally gotten the brown fabric, sprayed it. It's still brown on the underside, and then that's what. For some reason they decided to do it. I don't know why. It's just weird. But I think it looks a lot better in brown.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I stuck around to the end of the video.
Oh.
I saw that too. The little,
Yeah.
you know, B-roll footage he had there, where they're like, "Oh, and by the way, look at this little thing behind the neck,"
Yeah,
and it was
oh.
like a different dye. I'm like, "Oh, those sneaky people at Hot Toys."
I I don't know if I'm reaching here. Did they make it intentionally not brown so that there is an even bigger difference for the season 2 version? Because if it's the same thing, just with a different, thigh plate and this little knee thing, which always seems to fall off, there's not that big of a difference. Like people will be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's the same thing that I just got. Just we'll just get the thigh plate. Whereas now it's like, well, the entire suit's different. It's much more accurate now. So I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming.
It's a
Who knows?
very very possible sneaky sales tactic, deliberately dyeing the suit a different color and then making the season 2 one brown to be like, oh well, that one looks way different and more accurate. Now I got to get that one with the dark saber and all that kind of stuff. So that's how they got. That's how they got us. That's how they got me with the Beskar Deluxe with the accessories that belong with OG Mando, like the Camtono and
And
the
the
pod.
hover pram, which is not
Yeah.
even the hover pram that is used with Beskar Mando. It's a completely different chromed out hover pram made by Quill. So,
Yep.
like, clearly that was supposed to be for the original Mando, and the thing that connects on the base perfectly fits around the pikes on the base
Yeah,
anyway. So
yeah.
it's like, you'll
Got
be
the same
doing,
grooves and cutouts.
yeah, they're playing tricks, but,
Yeah, but
we're
they
suckers.
do that, It's just like even with Avengers, like we've got the like Rocket comes with the little nano gauntlet, and then
Yep.
Captain Marvel comes with a big hunking like Hulk gauntlet. So you got to get Captain Marvel to get that, unless you get battle damage Thanos. And it's like, oh, these accessories mix and match.
Sneaky. But it's how they do it, and we're going to fall for it every time because he looked good. He looked real good. But we do have 60 people in the stream. Shall we begin? 66! I apologize. Execute Order 66, it would seem. Shall we?
66. Yes,
Shall we do a very special announcement?
Yeah, sure. I'd say that this is a pretty good crowd to let people know. I mean, people will be finding out sooner or later, anyways.
They'll watch the stream back. If you're watching the stream back afterwards, catch us at some point at the next stream. I'm sure there'll be streams in the future. But
Exactly.
I'll lay a little bit of a groundwork, and I'll let Peter do the special announcement. So, for those of you who don't know, there's been, Peter's videos, amazing content. It's been hosted on a couple of different platforms. It's been hosted back in the day on the channel that we used to run together, MISB, which no longer exists. And then it was hosted on my channel. It's been a privilege to host Peter's content. It's amazing content, but we wanted to give, or Peter wanted to give his content a place to call home and a place to grow. And now, going forward, Peter, would you like to make your special announcement, sir?
Hey, so yeah, going forward, the my content posing with Peter will have its new home on a channel, which I actually have a Bitly link for.
Hey!
Um, so yay, surprise! Yeah, we'll be migrating all. Well, actually, instead of migrating all my content from this old channel, from Justin's channel to my new, it's already been done. A lot of my content, all my previous videos have already been uploaded to my new channel. Um, and what we'll be doing is I'll be uploading all of my new content to that channel moving forward as well. And so yeah, this is something that's it might seem kind of maybe out of left field, but it is something that Justin and I have been kind of talking about for months actually.
Yep.
As he mentioned previously, is we were working on some content together some time ago, but what had happened was I had fell on some hard times without going into many details. I was at a point, kind of a low point, where I was thinking of possibly even stopping the whole YouTube thing. But the entire time from day one, making this content up through those dark times that I was kind of going through, and then there was Justin and Steph, my friends, at Six Scale Network, like Ryan and Aaron and Daniel and Ken. The entire time they've kind of just been been there for me, pushing me along, motivating me, inspiring me to kind of, hey, your content is worth watching, people enjoy your stuff. And so yeah, it was one of those things where Justin said, hey, well, you know what, if you're kind of on the fence about stopping this whole YouTube thing because of where you're at right now, how about you come onto my channel, and I'll just kind of help you along for the time being. We'll just see how it goes, and if you are happy making videos for everyone, and if there's a pretty good reception, then we'll just kind of go and run with that for as long as we'd like. And so for the entire time, Justin's been very, very motivational and just kind of helping me, kind of guiding me through this whole process. But yeah, so for a couple months now, he's been kind of like giving me that funny little nudge where it's like, hey, like maybe it's time to take off the training wheels. Like maybe you might want to branch out to your channel. I'd hate to lose you, but at the same time, like I'm kind of curious to see what you do. So we figured, it's New Year, and yeah, it's pretty much time for me to kind of try to venture out into my own. So yeah, this isn't one of those things where, hey, it's goodbye and we're no longer friends. No, it's the opposite. Is that yeah, Justin's been a huge support of my content, and throughout this entire time, I would not have, I wouldn't be where I am today without Justin's support, without everyone in the chat, everyone watching, on Instagram, whether you've given a comment or subscribed. You've all given me the fuel to get me through this whole process, and I'm really excited to where it's going to go moving forward. So that is the announcement, is that my content will be posted on a new channel, and I'll drop the link in the chat, and also the link will also be on my Instagram and stuff. But yeah, there you go.
Perfect. I'll pop it in the description for everyone as well. But it's as Peter said, it's by no means goodbye. We'll be collaborating in the future again, I'm sure, and we'll still be working together behind the scenes. Obviously, we're both Six Scale Network mods and admins, so we're not going anywhere. But I mean, it's exciting, right? It's giving Peter's content its own place, its own, area of the YouTube ecosphere to grow and become its own thing. And I think that's healthy. The sitting on my channel in just a janky little playlist, not really the best representation of Peter's content, because Peter's content is fantastic. I've said it a million times. It's some of the best content, especially in terms of posing, that I've ever personally seen. It's better than my content, I can say that for sure. So I think that it was time to give it its own special, dedicated place for you to go posing with Peter and consume the content in the way it was meant to be, not just a side piece sitting off in a playlist somewhere, its own special dedicated place. It's, I think, hopefully going to be a place where people can go and see all kinds of posing stuff and rediscover the old content that maybe you haven't seen because it was tucked away and it was something that you potentially have never seen before. People now, more than ever, are getting into the hobby and picking up older figures. I'm getting more and more requests to do stuff, reviews on older stuff, and going hand in hand with a review, I think, is how to creatively pose that particular figure. And seeing some of the older stuff like the Terminator videos and Neo, etc., that Peter's put out that you may have missed, now you'll have a dedicated place for just posing with Peter content. I think that's super exciting. And I think people in the chat do as well. I can see some comments. People are lining it up. People are really excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to see where it goes.
It's going to be fun. There's going to be some experimental stuff coming up. One of the things that I've been really passionate about, even before getting into video editing for posing figures, something that I had been doing previously on a different YouTube channel was doing like music video editing. And so I'm really excited to kind of step into this realm of making posing videos with some background music, with like kind of movie scores. Yeah. Not necessarily the exact ones.
Be careful.
Exactly, right. That's where it's going to get a little bit of a tricky thing. And that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to move this content off to a separate channel, was because if I was going to be diving, for transparency in it for those in the chat and those that are watching, some of the content that I will probably be making for posing videos may potentially dive into like copyright claim ID realm. And I didn't want to do anything that could like jeopardize Justin's channel for that kind of thing. So we figured, all right, well, let's go ahead and branch things off to a smaller channel. And if something goes wrong, at least it's not that big of a deal. So it'll be exciting to do that kind of content, but still also incorporating, posing voiceovers and tutorials and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Treat it like, say, for instance, I don't know if I should use this analogy, but treat it as though it's this has been a show. Say, for instance, The Mandalorian, and you've had an amazing character in the shape of Ahsoka Tano appear in The Mandalorian, and now Ahsoka's made her debut. She's going to do her own show. That's how I see it personally here. Peter is obviously a star in his own right, and he's taking the content to a place where it can shine. So I think it's going to be a really awesome channel, and I cannot wait to see what Peter's cooking up. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we'll see. Something just arrived today, which was a surprise to both me and Nick.
Did you get it from Sideshow?
Yes, this arrived from Sideshow today. We did not know.
Which head did it come with?
So I guess that's right. That's been an interesting question throughout the community. Some people were under the impression that they'd get the new head sculpt already. Those of you that got it from Sideshow, like this one, it comes with the original head sculpt that came out in Hong Kong. So the one that everyone's kind of like losing their, ish over.
Honestly, the more I see it, the less I hate it. I don't know if it's just me forgetting what I hate about it, but now I look at it in hand, and before I was like, this is never going in the display, and now I'm like, should I put it in the display somehow? I don't know.
It's one of those things. Every time you see it on the internet, people say, hey, in hand it's not nearly as bad. Like someone will post a picture of it and say in hand it's not nearly as bad, and that is so true. It is something about figure photography. Sometimes you lose the details. It just makes sense when you look at your own collection in your display case, and then you compare it to what you see on photos and stuff. It's different. And so, the Tony Stark head sculpt that came with this, I looked at it and I was like, this is actually pretty good. I can understand the frustration in it looking completely different than what was showcased in the prototype. But in hand, though, I'm happy that it's a different sculpt. Because like the one from the Mark 50 and like the Mark 46 and those, they were very similar for so many years.
Identical, almost, just the eyes.
Yeah, and slight changing in the hair paint or something.
Yeah,
and so like imagine if they'd given that same sculpt in the Mark 85, everyone would have been up in arms. So like the fact that they gave us something different, I think is actually pretty cool.
I think so too. I think in years to come, people will be looking for that head sculpt. I honestly, I'm quite surprised that they decided to switch it out. I think that they already knew that there was going to be that reception and that that's something that they were planning. But I don't know, that's just me speculating, because the instruction manual already shows that that head sculpt that they're using to switch it out with. So I think that it was always planned. But I don't know. It's a very weird one because they haven't done this. Like, there's been like debate, especially in Ant-Man. Like, there was so much hate for that Ant-Man head sculpt, and they did nothing about that. They could have switched it out with the Civil War one, which I still think is a superior head sculpt, even though people say it looks like Ben Affleck. I don't know. They could have easily switched it out with that one, but they didn't. So I don't know why Tony Stark. I understand he's the heart and soul of the MCU, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Let's just say.
And I think the tricky thing too with Scott Lang, like they never really gave us a prototype from the beginning.
Yeah, it was always
blurred
blurred
out for like a year.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, like I think JC Hong shared a photo of a gray 3D sculpt.
Yeah, of like half the
unpainted,
face.
Yeah, so and then they gave us the final, and we're like, oh, okay.
Oh.
But yeah, I guess people were kind of upset with Tony Stark because like we got a full painted head sculpt
Two different
prototype,
ones.
and then what we got in reality.
In fact.
Yeah, that too.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so the whole replacement program it's interesting because it does set a bit of a precedent. I don't think it has happened before, and I'm really curious for the Sideshow customers because we know now, at least with recent news, like I guess Hot Toys Secret Base came out with some kind of announcement and a form that you fill out or something like that.
6 months, and in 6 months, then you get the new one. Yeah,
you have the option to trade it, right? Swap it out.
Yeah, it's a long time away. So I don't know if that's 6 months for the US as well, or like 6 months and then plus the usual, I don't know, 1 to 2 month, maybe 3 delay for the US before you can switch it out. We shall see.
I wonder if Sideshow customers are even going to be allowed. That's what I'm really curious about because last I heard they were unaware. Like they're not sure yet from like last we heard. So we'll see.
Interesting. We shall see. We shall see indeed.
Take a look at some of these comments.
I want to say a huge thank you to Jonathan Rowe for the super chat. Thank you so very much for the super chat, sir. Can't stay long, but always looking forward to Peter's next videos and Justin's setup in the new house. Thank you very much.
Hey.
I'm so sorry for the blank wall, everyone. I know it's an incredibly boring background. This is not even actually my final desk. I have a brand new standing desk coming because for those of you who don't know, I continuously injure my back because I'm continuously lifting heavy things and I really shouldn't be. So I've got a standing desk coming.
Man.
Yeah, it's bad. I got a standing desk coming. It's a black one with white legs. I've fully customized it because I didn't want this. Anyway, it's coming. And then some cabinets will be going along this wall. It's quite a long wall. It's deceiving. It looks shorter in video. And then there's another wall that I'm going to have potentially helmets on. I don't know. It's going to be a long process of putting all the bits and pieces together. But the other room, the collection room, is pretty much done. The cabinets are all in. The only thing that I need to do is hide the wires for the lights. And I've got some, what do you call those? The little wire hiding gutter things. They're coming. They've been ordered. And then that's it. All the poses are dialed in. The display's all set up. It's pretty much done. And I want to say a huge thank you to Daniel. And I want to say a huge thank you to Nathan for coming and helping me with the display. Daniel with helping move and assemble the cabinets, and then Nathan for setting it up with me and doing the poses. It got to a point where we were doing like one figure, like, oh, and Nathan was saying, oh, can you give me the hands for this? And I'm like, Nathan, we got 400 figures. We need to we need to move. And he was like, oh yeah, well, we want to get the pose, we want to do this. So anyway, it took some time. It took, I think, 4 days, like from 10 o'clock in the morning to like 10 o'clock at night. We were putting all the figures in, doing all the poses, and we were making it so that when you walk into the room, even the cabinets on the side, the figures are all angled towards you. So like you can see everyone. It's not just like they're not just front on. You have to be. It's hard to explain. You'll see in the collection tour. It's coming up soon.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's going to be interesting. I've had a new mentality in the way that is the main display. So anything that isn't quite like if it's third party and it's not quite up to scratch, it's not going to go in the main display. That's just for like, the top tier stuff, the stuff that I really love. It's going to go in the main display, and, stuff will switch out here and there. And then this room will be for other stuff that's still excellent, but stuff that doesn't quite make the main display area. Like some of the video game figures, like Steph's Assassin's Creed figures will be going in here, and they'll be going in the background. And that will obviously keep changing and switching as well. So yeah, it's going to be It's going to be an evolving display, let's just say. I don't know what to do with the second Beskar Mando, though, to be honest. I don't know where to put him. We shall see.
Maybe at the media center when you're watching TV.
Oh, I
I've
would.
seen that. Some people do that.
I
Kind
have
of put the
seen
figures next to the TV.
that looks pretty dope. But what I'm thinking, and I haven't decided yet, is because I'm doing a display for my helmets, my 1-to-1 scale helmets. I almost
Oh,
have enough figures to do the helmet and then the figure of that helmet standing next to the helmet. So that's what I'm thinking. Darth Vader next to the Darth Vader helmet, Mando next to the EFX Season 2 Mando helmet. That's what I'm thinking. So
that's gonna look dope.
we shall see how that turns out. I need to get Grogu in here. He's there. Little
Oh,
guy.
I've seen some people add little peach fuzz to his
I have
hair
seen that.
or to his head.
It's something that's missing. I think it should have been sculpted there at the very least. For those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, there's nothing at all on the back of little Grogu's head here. Oh, just as it focuses, I pull it away, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it needs to be a little bit fuzzy back there. I think they could have sculpted it in. I don't know exactly why they didn't, but Hot Toys does some interesting things sometimes. So yes, maybe in another future version we'll see some light fuzz on the back, like they did with their original trilogy Yoda. We shall see. Let's have a look at some of the
Making these
comments
here.
shall we? We do have a
Someone
lot
asked something about
of Justin's Collection Plus members here. A huge thank you to everyone who's
Wow.
joined Justin's Collection Plus. That is awesome. I'm loving the custom emoji, especially there from you, Linda. There's a lot of custom emoji there, and it looks fantastic. I love that. Thanos snapping. Spicy.
Yeah, I'm so out of my depth when it comes to that stuff.
So basically,
I think it's kind of like Twitch too. Like Twitch also has their own like little emojis and stuff. Like I have no idea how that stuff works.
well, Peter, some people who are watching may not know how it works as well, so I'll give a quick rundown. So basically,
Yeah.
if you head down on PC, for some reason on iOS specifically, it's not available, only on Android and on PC. But if you subscribe to Justin's Collection Plus using a PC or an Android device, you can get the benefits on an iOS device. You just can't join on iOS, if that makes sense. They've done it that way because if you start a subscription on an iOS device, then Apple will get a cut because it's an in-app purchase, and they don't want to share the revenue. So that's why Google have done it that way. But on bigger channels, on much bigger channels, they have enabled it because I don't know why. Anyway, that's all besides the point. If you join Justin's Collection Plus, you get a couple of key benefits. If you click on that join button next to the subscribe button, it will tell you exactly what they are. You get early access to some videos, some exclusive content, and a hell of a lot more stuff, including custom emoji for the chat. So members can use their custom emoji. They will appear like Necreeper there with his custom re-armored Boba Fett emoji. I'm loving that. That's spicy.
Damn.
So just a simple emoji making my way through the chat.
Make his way to the chat. Nice.
I love
understand that reference. Nice.
I
Nice.
love that. Any got a few more super chats actually. Bob Dylan, any word on Soso's Homelander? The young rich was the young rich on it. Honestly,
They updated the sculpt.
they updated the sculpt, but I'm just going off their other human-based figure that they just released, being Ned.
Yeah.
Guys, you've done so good with your animated Into the Spider-Verse stuff. Like, it is top tier. Honestly, it is some of the best stuff that I've ever seen, including the Peter B. Parker that's coming out with the, 3 different head sculpts and, outfit changes. It looks fantastic. Why? Why would you not stick to your forte? Like, go and do something like Batman the Animated Series, or go and do something that's right in your wheelhouse that you can nail, rather than making something that, like that Ned figure. I'm sorry, I think personally, it looks horrible. I think.
I was bummed too because I was really excited. I wanted a Ned figure to go with Homecoming Spider-Man, and because he needs his guy in the chair.
Yeah.
But and I was so excited that Younger Toys was making it, or someone was making it. But then when we saw
The best one we have is
I was like,
this, unfortunately, for now.
which isn't really Ned.
No.
I mean, yeah, it's him when he's laying on the bed, but like
It's sad.
Yeah, we need like Ned.
We do need a proper Ned, and I don't know why they decided to do it's not even close. I don't see Ned, the actor who plays Ned, at all in that sculpt. I don't see it. But the Homelander, they did update the head sculpt. My issue though is the outfit and the body. It doesn't look quite right. The one thing that Soso Toys does very well is the details in the outfit. They'll have proper screen printing, and it will look legit. I can't say who's made the prototype, but the person who has made it worked for an official company. I can't say which company that was, but they have worked for an official 1/6 scale company before, so they've got some real pedigree. I think the So Toys one is going to be insanely good. So just we'll hold out for that. It should be announced, hopefully, fairly soon. We've seen little teasers here and there, but hopefully it should be announced fairly soon. So Toys is churning out the stuff. The Blind Vigilante, which is Matt Murdock in the black outfit, that has just been released. We're also going to be getting Arrow just before Chinese New Year, and the one that's coming after that is Superboy. The production's already finished; they're ready to go, but they're not releasing it until after Chinese New Year because they want to ship the Arrow first. So they're churning stuff out. So I wouldn't be surprised if that Homelander gets announced and then subsequently released a couple of months after, very soon. So
they were also making, was it Billy Butcher? Was that
yes,
them that's making that?
They're making Butcher, and he looks good. The smiling head sculpt, not 100% sure on, but the non-smiling one, I think looks fantastic.
The kind of smirking one, yeah.
I think it looks really good. Jonathan Rowe with another super chat. Sounds like a lot of trouble. Just send the Beskar to me. Look, I think I'm going to hang on to it just for now. Sorry, Jonathan.
That reminds me of one of your older podcasts where someone was kind of like telling you, like, I'm expecting the figure at,
and it gave me their address.
1 p.m. And like, hey, it's 1 p.m. Where's my figure?
No, don't do that. I'm sorry. But yeah, Jonathan, I think I'll hang on to it for now, if that's okay with you. That's all the same with you. A few more questions. The 1/12 scale Mafex Homelander. I'm not sure if you've seen that, Peter, but Mafex is making an Homelander. It does look really good, I think. I think it looks excellent.
I have not seen this.
Excellent. Well, there's some research for you after the chat. I also want to say a huge thank you, while I've got you here, Bob Dylan, for the amazing gifts that you sent through to me, and Daniel. I would get them, but they're literally over there. I can't reach. They'll be coming up soon on the channel. But yeah, a huge thank you to you, Bob Dylan, for sending me through those amazing gifts. I will be doing some reviews very soon, and we'll be letting the people know exactly who sent them my way. So a huge thank you goes out to you, sir, for that. Excellent. We've got some love for Peter in the chat. Definitely, I cannot wait to see Peter's content on his own channel. By the way, there'll be no downtime. So whenever the content leaves my channel, it will be live on Peter's channel. So you don't have to stress about not being able to get your Peter fix. You will be able to do that. It will be ready to go. There will be virtually no downtime. Maybe like a millisecond, but you'll be able to live with that.
The videos are already uploaded on the channel, and so yeah, it's just like after this live stream or whenever we get around to it, we'll kind of take down the old ones from this channel and then make the other ones on my channel go live, and it'll be pretty seamless. So you don't gotta go too long without that stuff.
Exactly.
And then just some content to look forward to.
I'm looking forward.
I've already got a couple of videos filmed for Nebula. A couple of poses. Sorry, a couple of poses filmed for Nebula. Maybe 4 out of the 10 or 12 I'd like to do. After that, the surprise I wanted to give to Ken, if he's still hanging around.
Robocop.
It's
Robocop?
A small little surprise. But yeah, the surprise I had for Ken, I was telling him before this live stream, is that I'll finally be getting around to doing the 3.0 DLX Transformers video. I'm going to be doing a video for Optimus, B, and Soundwave. I just ordered Soundwave a couple days ago. So that'll be a fun little...
Soundwave...
kind of like probably a showcase.
He's a chunky boy. He is big. He's like... I love it. You're going to love it.
That's kind of what actually made me so hesitant of getting him. I'm not gonna lie, because it was like when I watched your review and I kind of saw that like Soundwave was like almost bigger and thicker than Optimus. I was like, Soundwave shouldn't be that big compared to Optimus. Like, come on. But
I think they're going for Decepticons. Like, if you saw the Blitzwing as well, he's also a bigger boy, right? I think they're making it so that like they're bigger, so it's like, ooh, they're evil. I don't know, but trust me. When you get him in hand, you'll forget all about that. He is that good. He's amazing.
That's what I figured. It was one of those things where like my initial reaction was he's a bit too big. I'll pass. And then I gave it some time to think about it. Just kind of let the dust settle. And I watched more and more videos, and I was like, you know what? This is a great looking figure. Aside from my own little personal nitpick about him being a little bit big, like he looks fantastic, and having Ravage coming out of the chest, it's just like, come on.
Be careful with your Ravage. Mine broke in 2 separate places. So falling out of the chest that I had him pouncing out of. please be careful. The tail and one of the missiles broke. So I was able to glue it, and it's perfectly fine. I actually have 2 sound waves, so I have a spare Ravage anyway. But just be careful. If you're doing the posing, like jumping out of the chest,
Yeah.
he can fall, and he will break. He's very fragile.
Thank you for the heads up. Okay,
No problem.
definitely noted.
No problem
when
whatsoever.
it gets to when I get around to when I get around to like filming that and doing that kind of stuff, I'll come back to you. Like, all right, so wait, what was it that you mentioned?
Yeah. What was it?
But,
Don't break what again? Yeah, Ravage.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
fragile, so please be careful. I do have my my big boy B arrived because for those of you who don't know, I worked with 3.0 to review the premium scale B, and then they asked for it back. So I sent it back, and I ordered myself another B. So the premium scale B just arrived, so I'll probably have it in here, I would say, on the cabinets in the background. So it's like random stuff like that will be going in the background here. There's so
I need that.
It's
I wish I had the space for that.
honestly, it's not that big actually. It's maybe a little bit tall, only a little bit taller than Mando. But the Optimus will be like it's going to be enormous.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I will be reviewing that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if I will be reviewing any more premium scale stuff. I really like the deluxe scale. It's manageable. They've got all the detail. They've got all the paint apps. It's just they are not obviously 1/6 scale, but they're the same size as a 1/6 scale figure, so it fits in with the collection in the fact that they're the same size. I know Daniel has said previously that doesn't work for him because it's Optimus Prime. He should be like huge compared to like a guy, but honestly, I'm happy with them to be all the same size. I can forgive scale if they're all similar height ranges, if that makes sense. So yes, DLX
And
scale.
I mean, you nailed it. I like that they gave us the option too, because before it was like always just the bigger, taller figures, and I was like, man,
huge.
those three. I was like, they look great, but I just don't have the space in my apartment for that, so I'm gonna have to pass. And then when I saw that they were coming out with the littler, smaller ones that can fit in a detail, I'm like, oh, I'm all on board for that. So
Yeah,
it's nice that they gave us, access to that.
it makes sense, especially for a company based in Hong Kong. Like usually, especially with Hot Toys, you'll see them. 99.9% of their releases are 1/6 scale rather than quarter scale because, of course,
Because
space
space is limited.
requirements. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. I don't even know why they're still doing the premium scale. It seems like an unnecessary expense. It's almost like how Entebbe doesn't exist anymore because they were taking so many risks. Like, they were doing some amazing stuff with their quarter scale Terminator line, but they were making the guns out of real metal and real wood, and then the outfits out of like real European sheep's leather and stuff like that. It's like, guys, you don't have to go that far, and that's potentially why y'all don't exist anymore, because you took it a little bit too far. You know what I mean? Like, people criticize Hot Toys for maybe this all not being metal, but maybe that's what made it possible to actually make this. So I think
on that top, that's a great segue into something I wanted to bring up, which was the Dark Trooper and people saying I wanted that in diecast.
No.
I'm like, whoa, what? I'm like, why?
You did
like,
not.
yeah, like that's been something that I've been seeing. People are like, this should have been diecast. I'm like, but like that's gonna be really really expensive then, and then B, like not really affordable to do army building. Like when it comes to Dark Troopers, you want multiple. Not just like one that's like $500. So I think it being plastic at like a $250 price range is pretty fair.
I don't
trade-off.
really understand, especially for droids like the Dark Troopers. I don't really understand the necessity for diecast. In fact, aside from the feel, you don't really get any benefits over plastic. Like, I'm just going to be honest. You don't really get any benefits except for in key areas like joints where you need the extra structural rigidity. Then diecast makes sense. I'll specifically talk about, I don't know if anyone in the chat follows Transformers, but I just recently got a third-party Unicron from the 86 movie. And that has diecast, but only in strategic areas, such as the joints. Everything else is plastic, and that's perfectly fine. I don't understand the obsession other than that like tactile feel of something being metal with it being diecast. If they can get away with making it plastic, there are some key advantages to it being plastic. First of all, cost. It's not as expensive to make molds for plastic as it is diecast, because diecast, if they are casting it, it needs to exceed a certain temperature that plastic doesn't to be able to go into a mold. Therefore, the molds are slightly cheaper. So that's one thing, is the price. Second is, if you've got a whole bunch of Dark Troopers and you're putting them on a glass shelf, You better be darn sure your glass shelf can take the weight. Yeah, because the heft, in my opinion, the better something is engineered, the lighter it is. Because that shows that you've put the engineering into the structural rigidity of your components and the build, so you don't need to make something as heavy to make it as sturdy and to make it as good. So I prefer, especially with stuff like vehicles. Daniel and I were just the other day moving the Hot Toys 89 Batmobile. I can lift it with one hand. It's big. It literally is that light. And then we tried to move.
It's like really, really hollow?
It's pretty hollow, but it still looks the part, right? It's a big honkin' 89 Batmobile. It lights up. It's got all the detail. It's super crisp. And then we try to move the Jazz Inc. Justice League Batmobile, which by all means is beautiful. It's one of the most stunning things that you can ever see. But it's super heavy. Like, really heavy. So, in my opinion, the lighter something is, the more engineering prowess, I think, is behind it. Not to say that Jazz Inc. by all means doesn't have engineering prowess. They do. They just do it in a different way. It's still fantastic. But I personally prefer stuff to be lighter weight. So the plastic, sorry for that huge tirade there. The plastic for me doesn't really bother me at all. If they wanted to do die cast in some key joints, maybe on the legs to give it the weight like they do with K2SO, totally fine. I get it. That works. But I'm not upset that it wasn't. It's a glossy plastic suit of armor. It was glossy and plastic in the show. It was a practical thing. It was a real suit. They're making it, in my opinion, as close as they can possibly make it to the real thing. It was glossy black plastic, and that's exactly what the figure is made out of. Don't you want it to be as authentic as possible? It wasn't metal in the show. It was a dude in a suit. So I'm fine. I'm totally fine with it. Peter, are you getting Dark Troopers? Do you care about them not being die-cast? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I might have. I don't know. I think I dropped out of Skype just for a second there.
No, you have, I think you've been there the whole time, as far as I can see.
Oh, on my end, you kind of just like froze for a good 15 seconds, and then I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, but the last thing I saw was you asking if I was getting a Dark Trooper. As of right now, no, but things can always change. I have like a list of figures that I haven't pre-ordered, but are on like my list that I think I want to get. I'm just waiting for the final version to come out before I decide to pull the trigger. And the Dark Trooper is on that list. So we'll see.
I'm pretty excited. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait for some Dark Troopers. I haven't pre-ordered. For those of you who don't know, I don't pre-order, but I will be ordering. I won't be pre-ordering, but I will be ordering. So
yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a matter of space, really. You know, like if space wasn't such an issue, then I would definitely be ordering. I don't even. That's why I don't even have any stormtroopers. I have one first order stormtrooper, nothing from any of the other Star Wars movies. Even though I would like when I should get one, but it's just lack of space. So yeah, because I'm gonna be cramming all of my Mando figures into one little Detolf cube. Kind of hard to do that with the two OG Mando, Beskar Mando, IG-11 who's come in, and then I'm losing.
Heavy?
I'm blanking out. What's that?
Are you getting heavy Mando?
Not heavy. The main villain. What's the main villain?
Moff Gideon.
There we go. Thank you. Jesus. Yeah, I just totally blanked out. But yes, yeah. So all those characters just kind of crammed in one little cube. Yeah, I got to figure out a new display cabinet situation because having them all crammed in a Detolf kind of makes it hard for me to come up with dynamic action poses. So.
I think I'm not sure who makes them in the US, but there are a couple of companies down here at least who literally make like a carbon copy of a Detolf, just double width, so it's just like literally a double Detolf. So you get all the benefits of a Detolf being light enough so that you can still move them, but also you get the double width. So maybe we'll do some behind the scenes sleuthing to see if there are some double Detolfs around the California USA zone, and therefore we can sort you out.
I've been looking, because I know that they sell those kind of things in Australia, but yeah, I mean, here in the US, it's all everything I've found is just forums about how to like actually buzzsaw your own Detolf.
Oh
and
no,
then,
no,
bring them together.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I don't think that's a good idea. But yeah, we'll have a look and see. Modu cases are a great option, but they're so expensive and they take so long to arrive.
For me, it was the downtime.
Yeah.
Even though they're expensive, I understand. Like you are getting quality, so that's totally okay. You get what you pay for. But yeah, just for me, it was the 6 months to a year like turnaround time, and then I was
and
thinking
then by
like,
the time they arrive, you've outgrown them already, and it's like, I gotta order more, and it's another 6 months.
Yeah. Like, what if I got to order more? What if it came out? What if it comes out the way I didn't like it? Yeah, it's just But more power to anyone who actually has patience to do and dedicate. That takes a certain degree of devotion and dedication to pull that trigger.
It definitely does. I don't understand why it takes so long either, because they're like prefab frames that I thought would just be, because like the whole idea is they're modular, right? Like you got this cube and then you add it onto this cube and then you get this size. I thought that it would be like the rails are all just in stock all the time and then we just send them out. I don't know, maybe they're cutting down on production costs by only producing when they're ordered, kind of like what Hot Toys do. It's super weird. But anyway, we'll answer a few more comments in the chat because I actually have to drive to a place to pick up some figures after this live stream, and it's an hour away, and Miss Collection is not very happy about that, and I have apologized because it's an exceptionally long drive, but hopefully y'all will enjoy. There's a series of reviews coming up on the channel, and you probably can already guess, based on my recent community post, what that theme is. But here is a sneak peek, perhaps. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Oh, I'm excited.
So there will be a series of reviews. I get excited. So we started it with a couple of third-party options and the Two-Face 2.0 face. So it's gonna be good, hopefully. So stay tuned for that. I'll answer a few more comments while we've got Peter here, and then we will wrap it up. Linda, I'm loving your custom emoji, and same to you, Amazing Web. I love your Spidey there, sir. Double detolf is a great idea. IKEA, pay attention, says Linda. IKEA, pay attention. Why are y'all not doing this? What do we have here? RJ Schultz, a Justin's Collection Plus member, says he just finished on an all-day project of swapping 2 detolfs to 1 Billy bookcase with the glass doors. Huge capacity upgrade. I've seen the Billy bookcase. The only issue for me personally with Billy bookcase is the depth. So detolf is a cube, whereas Billy is shorter. You can get a little bit more height because you decide where the shelves go, obviously, and more width because you pick the width. But the only issue is the depth. So if the depth doesn't bother you, then that's perfect. You can have as many figures as you want going horizontally. But in terms of the depth, sometimes you want characters fighting or one behind the other. It's not to say that it's not perfect. But it's a little bit challenging, especially if you do want to have as many figures as Peter and I have in the display. You do want to optimize your vertical space and you want to optimize your depth as well. It's not just the width. But yeah, I totally get it. Billy is a great option. What do we have here?
I got one real quick.
Oh, yes.
Amazing Web. Yeah, question here. Amazing Web, which is Micaeus, good
Yes.
friend. He and I chat quite often. So Micaeus asks, why are Peter's videos still going to go up on Justin's channel if he has his own? So to help clarify, that's a great question. To kind of help clarify, what's been happening is Justin has been helping me along through this whole process, just kind of motivating me. Just to kind of recap for those who were here in the beginning, Justin has been helping me along this entire time with the YouTube journey. But the time has come now where my content, old and new, will be migrating over to my own channel, which is the link that I've shared. So to clear up any kind of possible confusion, my content will be leaving Justin's channel. And it's already been uploaded to my own channel, which is the link that we've shared. We'll also be sharing the link in the description box later on, and I'll also have it updated on my Instagram profile. Right now, the link is just the bit.ly link for the time being because the channel is so small that we don't have the registration of the actual Posing with Peter channel name yet. But once we get to that point, it'll be officially like youtube.com/posingwithpeter, and that's where my old content will be along with the new content. In terms of the downtime, there won't really be much downtime in terms of my old content. Justin and I have discussed this, and basically once the content goes offline from his channel, it'll immediately go online on my channel. So there won't be like a whole week or two without my stuff. So hopefully that clarifies that aspect of it.
Exactly. Very good question. Amazing Web. That is fantastic. So basically, treat it like the MCU, where all our standalone properties, and then sometimes we come together for one big bash, being an Avengers film. aka a live stream or some
Yeah,
sort
there
of
you
collab or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
those will be maybe a couple of times a year. I don't know. Whenever there's something to discuss. But yeah, by all means, we'll still be working together collaboratively. It won't just be like, oh, see you later, see you never.
Yeah.
It won't be like that.
Right.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Like I was at CollectorCon. I was supposed to be on the CollectorCon live stream. I really wanted to be, but I was working, yeah, so I couldn't get that time off. And so, but yeah. So case in point, like Justin said, is that this isn't just like a see you later. Yeah. Well, actually, it kind of is that we will see you later. In a sense, for like on like future live streams and So even though my content is
And
going to my
CollectorCon
own channels,
2, perhaps.
exactly. Yeah.
Imagine if we could do it in
But
person this year. That would be fantastic.
we'll see.
see how it
I
goes.
mean, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news. It's not
I've been
exactly safe
keeping
to
up.
travel to the U.S. right now.
I've been keeping up.
So-
Currently, for those of you who don't know, in Australia or in Victoria, we're at 0 locally transmitted cases, so we're doing great. But we actually can't leave the country. So I couldn't even get to the US. Someone asked me recently, "Oh, are you planning on coming to the US?" I was like, "Well, I'm actually not allowed to leave the country. I don't even know if that's legal, but they're not allowing us to leave the country." So no, I cannot. But hopefully, eventually, they'll open it up. They're starting to open stuff up now. Like I'm pretty sure we can start traveling to New Zealand. I don't know if there's any quarantine stuff going on there, but we can't travel to the States or Japan or Hong Kong or anything like that. But hopefully, soon we'll be able to do that. And then that way, if everything goes well in the States, they have some cons either this year or next. It'll be fantastic to meet up and do some CollectorCon in person. That would be awesome.
I think there may be conventions this year, but whether or not they're safe to travel to is a whole nother question. We'll have to find out later on, depending on how people are inoculated and stuff. So we'll see.
Yes, we will definitely see. But that is time. We're going to have to call it time. I apologize to everyone for having to cut the stream short. It's been an hour. It's been fantastic chatting to all of you. I apologize for us not being able to answer as many questions as we would have liked to, but we had a lot to get through and we managed to do it, and that's awesome. And I cannot wait to see Peter's content. I've got to head off and grab the figures that I've agreed to go buy off this gentleman, and you'll be seeing some reviews on the channel very soon. But stay tuned to Peter's channel. His content will be going up sometime today, and when you see it on Peter's channel, it will no longer be available on my channel. Think of it like content leaving Netflix and going to HBO Max. It's right for home. That's how it's going to be done. And yeah, it's going to be an awesome journey, I'm sure, for Peter, and I'll be, if he wants, helping along the way and trying to grow his baby to be as badass as it can be. So cool. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks everyone for joining.
We'll catch you in the next video. Hey, we are off.